Thanksgiving, even if it's just like your iPad or something, like saying, thank you, St. Anthony, that's awesome. But you shouldn't go around tying strings around his neck or nooses around his neck because you lost your iPhone at the park, like.
Okay, I give you a sheet on Jesus spirituality. So just following up with
It's sweet though.
what brother shared yesterday, the strong emphasis on apostolic work and the generosity to the service of Christ. So Christ the King, what brother talked yesterday, the detachment, the spirit of freedom and self-sacrifice. This is very readiness to go anywhere in the world where the service of Christ is required. Readiness to go. So this is very, very important. The spirit of flexibility and mobility to move. So detachment is very important. The other one is the apostolate is not an individual matter. That means if they send you to a parish and if the need of the evangelization need you to in a different place, flexibility as a group, we have to discern, we have to go there. So this is very important. This is what we talk about. We have people working with the rich people because they need also to know Christ, but you have also to work with the poor people. Say,
Did the monks before used to have individual apostolates? Is that what that was, or what?
not really. So this is talking about basically is as a group we talk about the diocese. For example, in the priest in the diocese, this is my parish. My parish.
Got it.
And you should not see that this is my parish. And when the bishop say, hey, Robert, you can be here for 6 or 7 years. I want you in far away. I'm not going.
No, I say, just tell me where to go, I'll go.
Yeah, so this is yours, but we have in the history we have the people just contesting it. I'm not going to do that.
In my diocese, one priest said the same thing, went to the tribunal with the Vatican and he won.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So this is what we talk about. The apostolate is an individual affair. So the apostolate is everyone affair. We are working as to be one, and we have to discern as a group who is the best prepared to go there. So a call for an active person and to be one totally committed to the apostolate. So you have to commit yourself. This is one of the steps I will bring up. So only only the holy are called for the ministry of the apostolate. And the contemplative dimensions of that work. Contemplative dimension but in actions. Okay, also the failed missionary actions should permit to go at the earth of all the activity, the faith. So this is very, very important. So the Jesuits see his work as part of an unfolding God's plan of spreading the news. So you seek to begin to continue this work, but God is the one who's gonna fulfill it. So you just starting. You should not think because I started the project and then I have to die here. You start the project and just stick it. Normally the apostolate is, if it's spirit guided, the project will run. But it's human, what you're talking, human is based on my pride as a human, I'm going to fly. And we see that in many cases in the churches where, so for example, the pastor is just stick one to come up with, I want to build a church. You build to build a very beautiful, build a church hall. Why the most important stuff is to build a community. And sometimes you're going to find out that some churches have what we call elefante blanco in Spanish. Yeah. I have an experience in Mexico City. The people try to build their church. They build their church. And with one of the pastors and the bishops, okay, move the pastor to a different places. The one who came and said, no, this church is very ugly. Look at this. I don't want this one. And he came and he said, another church. Another church. The smaller, very nice one. He started to do the mass over there. And what happens? The bishop said, okay, You move. And people right now, they have 2 churches. The biggest, and the third priest comes and they go, oh, why I should have two churches now? So, while the second priest was like a pastor of that parish, he never used a bigger church, just used the church giver. And the third priest said, why should I have 2 churches? And the second church is not a small one. You can put like 300 or 400 people. And so the third priest said, okay, for weekdays, I'm the small church. And for Sunday, I'm over there. So this is something that you cannot understand how you can do that. So because we see the apostolate as our own work. It's not our own work, it's God's work. So let's move on the French spirituality. Very quickly, in the 17th century, very quickly. So the setting, there is war between the Catholic and the Protestant. France was one of the countries that was highly devastated by the war between Catholic and Protestant. Really devastated. And this is what the brother was telling us yesterday. Spain was out of that because Spain was fighting a different war. But France was the one, like the center, the French and Swiss. So this is. And then you have also the problem with the Anglican, the other side. And we have the Edict of Nantes in 1590 that extends religious tolerance and allow French to recover. So this is what we are talking. French is starting to recover after the war. So the condition of the church at that time asked for renewal in France. So it's very, very important to find out how to rebuild the church in France. This is what we are talking about. So this is where some of the people come. And with the Council of Trent, the Jesuits come back to France. They come back because they were expelled out of the France. And you have some of the new order, like the Carmelite, the Capuchin. So they come back again to come out with to work on the reform on France. And also we have the spiritual writing of some important mystics. Teresa of Avila, John of the Cross, Toller, Eke, Catalina, Saint Catherine de Siena, all of those mystics, their writing has been right now translated to French. So that people get access to a new kind of spirituality. So some of the people, you want to have that on properly, some of the people, like Madame, these very influential people in the abstract school of mysticism, like Madame Barbe Akari, this is one of the most influential. She has the money. And yes, she has the money, she congregates a lot of people as a wife, as a mother, as a mystic. She has influence of many people. And she's the one who introduced the Teresian Carmelite in France. She has a wife, because she has the money. And she wants the money. Yeah. She wants, because she can gift the places for them to come. But she was very, very, very influential. And some of the people are going to talk, they are from, this is Madame Barbe Akari. So
Was this during the laissez-faire economic system during France, or?
Yeah, this has come later on.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I was just saying because I remember women didn't have much rights during that time. So was it she who had the money, or her family had the money?
Yeah, okay. So, and we can talk also, we can comment on the mystical orientation, apophoric. When we talked last class, it was apophoric. There was emphasis on emptying and negations of yourself in order to be united to God. So this is a very so. And some of the authors, just quickly, we're going to mention them. So William Otto, which is Ben of the Cantophile, a man work with the rule of perfections. He published in France. Most of he was working from England, but his work was translated in French. So this is one of the author. You're gonna have the information on Populi. So I'm just coming with the most important. I'm gonna focus on like Francis of the Sale. Francis the Sale. This is one of the after Ignatius. After Ignatius, we have Francis of the Sale as a spiritual guide. So this was born like in part of the Italy now, and in Savoy, and educated with the Jesuits. He was a young priest and he became bishop. But he focused on restoring Catholicism in the Calvinist area. So he has hard time on working, like restoring the Catholicism and Calvinism. And as a bishop, he was very sensible to heart, endowing with many human gifts. So many gifts. And so he was advocating that the God grace built in the love of God was the foundation of his own life. So what we can talk about him is on, he was nourished by Teresa of Avila. So this is one of the, and Louis Granada and Italian mysticism. So this is what his life. And as a bishop, he wanted like to work toward like effective and effective love. But he has he devoted his time on spiritual direction too. A lot of time on spiritual directions. So what about what we can talk about? One of the most interesting experience he has with the spiritual friendship with Saint Jane Francis Jane de Chantal. Jane de Chantal was a lady, she was married, but the husband has an accident, happened to have an accident and died in hunting. And Francis was invited, I think, in southern Lyon to give a talk, a mission, and then he cured Francis, and what happens? He started became interested in Francis' message, and then he became the spiritual director. So in the history of Catholic Church, we're talking about very few spiritual friendship, like Saint Francis and Clare, Teresa of Avila, John, and we have Francis de Sale with Jane de Chantal. So they established another order, what is it, for women, Visitation Holy Mary. And so they were focusing people who cannot handle the Carmelite of the poor, clear, austerity life, and they come up with a different type of for women, especially for a widow. So this is the order, and it still exists today. And what I can talk to you is the next one on affect. I want you to talk about affectives. Okay, this is affectives. So he made a difference. Francis' love is expressed in two ways: affective and affective. So affective is the love of the willingness and goodwill. So and unite us with God's goodness. And effective is love of obedience and submissions, and urge us to serve God and to carry out His will. So this is some theoretical difference he made on affective and effective love. So with this one is obedience and submissions. This one is the submissions of willingness and goodwill to unite ourselves to God. This is like the same with St. John of the Cross, ascent to the Mount Carmel, and the dark night. So, the third very important person is Bérulle. Jean-Pierre Cardinal Bérulle is a main figure on, I talked to him from the beginning of these sessions in the French school, because he wanted to come up with it's like a spirituality for the local clergy. And in France at that time, you have the Jesuit on one side, and you have the local clergy. He wanted to establish really a strong clergy who is really educated. So he founded a French oratory. This after it was in Italy, they were an oratory. He founded an oratory, and he was a key figure to bring the Theresian Carmelite in France. So the idea of the oratory, the French oratory, it was to the restoration of the dignity and the grandeur of the Catholic priesthood. And what he says is, the diocesan clergy is the order of Jesus Christ. So this is the diocesan clergy, is order of Jesus Christ. He tried to give them a specific identity. So what is Beirut? His thought, his mysticism is then theocentric and Christocentric. So in his teaching, he focused on the topic of incarnate word, the mystery of incarnations. And the Pope Urban VIII called him the apostle of incarnate word. He's very interesting guy. Let's talk about his students. So this is Beirut. His students. So because you have some of the priests in Assumptions who are like supplicians. They come from Beirut school. So the first student, the first successor of Beirut was Charles Condren. So he took the place of Beirut. And Beirut also, he wanted to do like a compete with the Jesuits, to have school and for diocesan and priests. He comes something like, if the Jesuits have it, we have to have it too. So that he followed Beirut's teaching, he focusing on abnegations and adherence to Christ and the Word incarnate. These some students. The second one,
There we go.
yeah,
There is a convert.
yeah,
Jean-Jacques Ollier.
Ollier, yeah, he is the founder of the Supplicians. So Jean-Jacques Ollier, founder of Supplicians, the society of priests dedicated to the preparation and formation of seminary. So this is what we have now. You have another congregations who is his mission is to dedicate to the formation of priests in the seminary.
Yeah, we have 3 of them over here, remember?
Three?
Presupplications, right?
Yeah.
And
So-
they're religious or they're not religious?
They're not religious, so what happens is these men are, like me and Robert, they're diocesan, they're ordained for their diocese, and then sometime later, they go into formation to be a sulpician. But they're never excardinated from their diocese.
Mhm.
So they go part of the Society of Apostolic Life.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So Father Luis is still the priest of some diocese in Argentina.
Father Luis,
Father Jim is still a priest of the Diocese of Peoria. Father Nam,
which Jim?
Jim Myers.
Myers.
Oh,
And Father Nam is a priest of the Diocese of El Paso.
got it.
Okay. So, but they are Supplicians. They work, this is their mission. They feel like their mission is working from the seminary. So this is where they come from. They are from Beirut South. This is a push from Beirut. And the other one is St. John Eudes, and is just a successor of the same school, intensive preaching. So the preaching and mission in parish. Just remember, France was devastated. So they have a job of moving faster in different parish. So, and one of the, I want you to check over here. Okay. So let's see. Okay, this guy, Saint Vincent de Paul.
Ah, yay.
He was also Supplicians, but he dedicated himself to missions. So this is, and he was influenced by Francis of the Sales. So it was like you have a wave. When Francis de Sales was a spiritual leader in these regions, this guy was a young. And after, like, After Francis passed away, then Saint Vincent de Paul emerged as a spiritual leader, doing a lot of missions. So it's a little bit different, but this is what we call intensive preaching and missions, going in the rural area, preaching for the renewal, yes, especially preaching for the priestly renewal. He was very, very active, Francis, Saint Vincent de Paul. So,
But didn't the Salesians came from the Sales?
No.
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 Don Bosco.
John Bosco chose St. Francis de Sales, but he was Italian,
Yeah,
and he chose him as the patron saint.
yeah, because he feel like he has some affinity with that spirituality. And Saint Vincent de Paul, he founded the congregation of the missions. He called Lazarus. I started with some of them.
Why Lazarus? Which Lazarus, the guy from the parable?
I think why, I don't know why they named Lazarus. I have to find out. Why we call them Lazarus. I don't know why we call them Lazarus. Right? Sometimes Vicentian, but this is a congregation of mission. This is their name. I have to find out why this like they have a nickname of Lazarus. I don't know. So, and we have some of those small people who came later on from Saint Louis Marillac, and we have Saint John the Baptist de Sales, and Saint Louis Marie Grignon de Montfort. So all of those, they came from the Sulpicians, the Sulpician movement. And this is another one, Jean Duvergier de Uran. This is another one, and known as Saint Brian. But later on, they founded a monastery. Later on, they came a monastery in Port-Royal. What we know from this guy is the one who popularized the Jansenism. I want to talk about later on the Jansenism, and this monastery became the center of Jansenism. So what is the Jansenists? Another guy is interesting. We have to know on this is Blaise Pascalism. These mathematicians and
He wasn't a
scientists.
religious, was
He
he?
was not a religious, but why he came in here? Because he was a supporter of Jansenists.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was a supporter of the other guys. He was a supporter of that monastery, Jansenism. And so Blaise Pascal, he composed letter and attacked the Jesuits. And attack also, because the Jesuits was attacking the Jansenists, teaching as a lax. No, we cannot accept it. But so the Jansen end up, because the king just decided to suppress that order. And let's talk a little bit on the Jansenism. What is the Jansenism? The Jansenism is the theological controversy and over predestinations and the relationship between God and grace and human liberty. So this is from Calvin. They have some influence on Calvin. So, and they put a greater emphasis on the teaching of St. Augustine, the negative side. So, God, grace, and the pessimism of human nature. The human nature is bad. The human nature and bad, just God, grace. So this is the Jansenists. And they come out even, this is the founder. He was a professor.
He wasn't a priest?
He was even the bishop.
Oh my goodness. He was a bishop. Oh, how nice.
He's a bishop, Cornelius Johnson. He was a professor in Belgium, a professor, and they made professor theology, and they make his bishop. So he gets the Augustine teaching, he put that to the extreme one. So, and he claimed that Christ had not died for all people. So this is the Jansenism. So this is the predestinations. Christ has not died for all people, just died for few, for some of them. So, And this style, Jansenism made with several Papa, the Pope just condemned the Jansenism. So, and the other side of the Jansenism, we have another one. The Jansen and the Quietism. This is the opposite. And this made public because there was a controversy between two bishops, Fenelon and Jacques Bossuet. Jacques Baker, so they start fighting. Those two bishops. So the Quietism is like focusing, is emphasizing the tendency of being quiet in prayer, emphasizing the pure, disinterested love of God. So you have to completely abandon yourself to the divine word. Extensive passivity. So this is what they will put. You have to do nothing. God will do everything. So the issue here is the balance between God's grace and the human response. You have to do something, not just helping because God is going to provide everything. God provided you with the intellect, He provided the body, He provided everything. You have to do something. So, and you have and also another Spanish priest came to Rome and starting to adopt the Jansenism position, Miguel Moreno, and they went to the trial and this make a very popular, very big news. So, and he was insisting what we call prayer of recollections. Prayer of recollections. Quiet, and you should not do nothing. Quiet prayer of recollections. So, and this is also the same problem. The Jansenism say that, okay, you have to do nothing because you are not select. And the Quietism, you have just to remain quiet, it's a contemplation. So, and there is an anti-Quietism movement in France, especially the Bishop Fenelon. And, okay, again, he has another, he was a spiritual director from another rich man. The issue also, Bossuet was also, the other bishop, was also very famous on doing funeral sermon, especially those who have a lot of money. So they have a lot of like a battle between two bishops, and Fenelon asked Rome to investigate his propositions. So he was very honest, and they charged Rome asked Bossuet, the other part, to be in charge of the commissions, the committee. So they chair that committee, and they declare some of his propositions. They condemn some of his propositions. So Fenelon was advocate for the pure love, and the pure love, and also he was asking for the vow of servitude. If really love God, you have to be a servant, like a slave. I am the slave of God. And this proposition was attacked by Bossuet. And what happens is the committee condemned the propositions. Fenelon appealed to Rome, and yes, Rome condemned some of his propositions, but the problem is the same year, the Pope Innocent XII created him a cardinal. So, and it ended up, everything ended up that day. So because he became, that's sent the message that Rome sided with.
So each of these spiritualities were based off one another.
Yeah. It's coming, so becoming one another. And then, like for example, let's say, the French, there were no spirituality in the 17th century, and then Berulle was the first one who wanted to bring something, and from there, no, first Francis de Sales. And from Francis de Sales, you have the other side of Berulle, and then become the whole Berulle thought, but the whole Berulle thought fundamentally they are rooted in Francis de Sales. So French spirituality, basically Francis de Sales. Yes.
I found out why y'all were called, well, they were called Lazarites.
Okay.
Well,
Lazarites,
I've
because,
never heard of that before, Liz.
Lazarus.
Lazarites is because the order, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
you all were, let me see. Okay, it says here, the society was constituted a congregation with St. Vincent de Paul as its head. About the same time, the canons regular of St. Victor handed over to the congregation the priory of St. Lazarus, formerly a Lazar house, or a house for leprosy or quarantine.
Okay.
So they became known as the Lazarites because of that place.
Okay.
So that's what it refers to.
The Lazar house is a put you on, okay, the lepers.
Quarantine, yeah, it
Yeah.
was an old house of quarantine,
Mhm.
so that's where they got sent to, so that's why they became the Lazarites.
Is that where the famous priest, or the famous saint priest, that, I think he's a saint, where he went to the bishop sent him to that leprosy colony, and he got leprosy?
Oh, this is Damien.
Is it Damien? Yeah, Damien the leper, yeah.
And this
Is he part of the
I
same?
don't know if he's in the same congregation, but he was in Hawaii.
Oh,
This is later on.
I'm confusing my saints.
Yeah, this is Damien. But yes, I know, because I do remember, when I was young in Africa, in hospital, they have what we call Lazarette, where you are in quarantine, they put you over there.
Mhm.
It was a huge bad building. Okay, so this is, and the people working over there. And you
So
are,
Lazarus is a word that means quarantine.
yeah,
Okay. So it doesn't refer to Lazarus.
no. Okay, let's move on,
St. Lazarus, when he rose.
Okay.
Before we go, I just have a quick question.
yes.
As much as I've read about it and understood why quietism is named quietism, quieto is referred to quieto.
Uh-huh.
So,
Passivity.
so that's, in other words, we don't have to do anything, God will do everything for us? Is that what that
It's like-
is?
It's
Yeah.
like being, it's like quiet.
In other words,
just like being extremely passive.
See, to the point that, lo que Dios quiera,
Yeah,
that quietism,
yeah, quietism.
donde we have to
We
also
can,
do.
you are,
We also
you
must
can,
have.
There's a balance.
yeah, you have a freedom. God will give you everything. You have to move, but
So Mexicans have a lot of quietism.
this
Ay,
is
se
some,
va,
yeah,
lo que Dios quiera.
yeah.
Si Dios quiere.
Mhm.
Here's a good example. My Protestant friend, he's still doing whatever he's doing, but he never found a career because he's like, oh, God's gonna give me the
No,
career, or
no.
God will,
Yeah,
that's
that
how-
would be
No,
a
so
form-
we
that
have
would
to
be a
teach
form of
people to
quietism.
find what they call their divine calling.
yeah.
This,
Yeah, that's-
we, yes.
So go ahead, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
So we as a human, every human has a divine call, regardless of your religions. You have a divine call. You have to find out what is your divine call. Is not the divine call entitled a lifestyle vocation, entitled a ministerial vocation.
Right.
So first you have to find it. So not only just, I'm gonna stay, I'm not going
Yeah.
to do nothing. Yes, Jose?
Yeah, it reminds me of, you know, I mean, being in the seminary, I've come across people who are like perpetual discerners, what we call them. You know, discerning for 4 or 5 years because they're like, well, I'm still waiting, I'm
No,
still like
yeah.
discerning.
Yeah.
And they discern priesthood for, you know, for 4 years with a vocation director. But because
They don't wanna commit.
because they don't act.
Mhm.
They don't do anything. It's just like, at some point, you need to take a step, like,
Yeah.
Well, and then there's the opposite, like for me, I'm not passive in any way. I'm very much aggressive,
Mhm.
and I need a little bit of quietism because
Okay,
sometimes.
this is
Well, that-
on themselves. This is on the prayer. This is a so you have the quietism. The quietism is just a movement.
Okay,
Nothing. We are not going to do nothing and just waiting God is going to inspire me.
God's just gonna.
Yeah. So I have another case, quietism. I don't know, in US there is no tradition, but in Mexico there is a tradition when you finish high school, you have to do a state exam.
Well, there's the California High School exit exam.
Okay, exit exam. And in Africa we have the same tradition. If you don't pass that exam, no way, you cannot go to college. You cannot. You have to pass, and when they publish the result, it's on newspaper, it's on TV. This is a big exam. And then you're gonna say, okay, school at Johnson High School, San Antonio, participant 200, those who pass 0, and they move on. So this is a big, because if you don't pass, what happens? You don't have opportunity to go to college. When it was my time, and if you don't pass, that means you have to go to redo the last year.
You did this in Mexico?
No,
No,
this
in
is
Africa.
Oh,
This is the, and if you pass, at my time it was, if you pass with 80, you have scholarship from the government. Right now it's not. There is no tradition. They take up. In my time, you have 80 to 75. You have a scholarship to go to public university. They pay you money to go, and you have to live at home, and you have money from the government. If you have above 80 to 100, they send you outside the country to study. So that means you are really clever.
Intelligent, yeah.
Yeah. And the majority of school, you're going to have a very boom, boom. If you get, I got 60, 65, something like that. But it's in the all regions, the highest score. And you're going to say 50, 55, because to pass it is very, very tough, the exam. And one guy, he was a candidate for a priesthood. Yeah, we were at a server in the college, in high school. He said, oh, I'm not going to study. God is going to do everything to me. And we saw that this guy, because he served in every mass in the morning, every mass is there. And we saw that, oh, he's really, really very religious. He knows how to pray. You know what he did? I'm not going to study.
you failed.
I'm
He
sorry
took
for-
his notes,
I'm sorry
his
for
book, his pen, everything. Go has access, go to the end of the altar. He put everything underneath the altar. He went to sleep. He said, God will give me the answer. I'm not going to study nothing. God will give me the answer. He fell. He fell and he got angry with it. God didn't give me the answer. Hey, God gave you the intelligence.
Amen.
And you have to use the intelligence. You don't ask for strength. Now this is the quietism. I have the faculty that I got from God, but I'm not going to use it. God will give everything.
So did he was a deacon?
No, he was like he was discerning. But we knew for sure that he's going to, like, you have to go like what do you call it? Pre-theology program.
Oh.
So what happened to him?
Oh, I don't know, right now he's married somewhere.
He's married?
Yeah, he's married somewhere. He got into the church. He said, God is not helping me. I failed the test. And he was, the exam, for example, you have, every day you have 4-day exam. The math exam, they give you 3 hours. But the guy did exam in 15 minutes. That's God is telling me to do. Hey, get out! Hey, he was proud. Okay.
Yeah, look what I did.
Yeah, God. At some point, we feel bad. What's going on? He's inspired. Yeah. All the exam, he did all the exam like in 15, 30 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. He's out. And what did you call it? When they published the exam, they go, well, the name, all the people, he failed the exam. So this is the type of quietism. It's very rooted in some culture. That it's very, you say in some culture, like in the rural area, you have to talk to people. You have to walk out. You have to do that, not just Dios. And so I want to stay there.
Well, like for example, here in the US, the ones that come from Mexico, in part, sometimes have that idea.
Mhm.
You know, like, lo que Dios quiera, or
Mhm.
I'm poor because that's the way,
Yeah.
and that idea
So-
is,
Those kind of quietism, and the other side, Jansenism, some Calvinist. The idea behind is predestination.
Jansenism is the one that we feel that the body's bad and the soul is good, right?
Yeah, they
Okay.
emphasize, but also they emphasize the idea that Christ came for specific people, not for everyone.
Oh, so not everybody can be a saint.
No.
Well, not everyone can have a
That would
relationship.
be double predestination, that would be very,
Yeah.
what is it, Calvinist?
Yeah, predestination is a Calvinist.
Well, I mean, we do believe in predestination, but a single predestination, everybody's meant for heaven, but not everybody gets there.
Yeah, so the Calvinist is separate.
Because they believe that some people are predestined to go to heaven,
They
and
have-
some are
yes.
meant to go
So
to hell.
then in Calvinism, for example, how do they practice their religion? Because there's still some Calvinists. It's like, how do I know if I'm the one predestined, or it doesn't matter, I do whatever I
So
want?
this is why we told the Calvinists in the US, how do we call them?
Oh, they're not Presbyterian, they're, yeah, Presbyterians.
No, Puritan.
Oh, the
The
Puritans.
Puritans. The Presbyterian Calvinists who come from, is the Puritan in the US. The Presbyterian who come from in Ireland or in England.
Hmm.
So it's different. So this is why they came with all of those guys. You can not do this so because if you do that, you are gonna be saved. So this is those type of predestination.
Okay, so then the Puritans believe if we are good and do all these things, we are meant to go to heaven.
Yes.
So I got it. So everybody else cannot go, but
Gonna
we
go to
can.
bed. We go.
I got it.
Yeah.
So that's like Jehovah's Witnesses,
They're good.
Some idea is
because they have a chosen group,
choose a chosen
144,000,
Yeah.
and the
Well, they have-
rest will not be gone.
Well, they have a number, Calvinists don't have a number.
Yeah. They don't have it. The witness of this is very late, very late.
But I'm asking if Russell's idea was similar to
Based-
Calvinism.
the same idea, based
Same
on
principle.
the same principle. So, and if you, I think, the other, the theological creed, I gave you the copy of how the different denominations and the matter of putting them where they come back. The Lutheran and the Calvinist, where they come, and the Anglican, where they come back. So it's very interesting. If the Calvinists, all of the Calvinists they have the core idea with predestination. Predestinations. And not everyone will be saved.
Hmm.
Okay, let's change, let's go a little bit, talk a little
Change
bit about
shifts.
prayer. Yeah, so this is from Ephesians. We'll talk about prayer a little bit. Only the holy, all Ephesians, this is Ephesians 7 or 9. So, and St. Paul is stating, only the holy for the work of ministry. Only the holy for the work of building the body of Christ. Okay, so you will have that on PowerPoint. So the question is, what is holiness? We're going to a mysticism. Mysticism is this trained philosophical, theological thought and spiritual theology on understanding the relationship between human and God. The union of the human and God. This is a mysticism. How the holiness? And we know from the Bible that we are called to become sane. Everyone, the grace is for everyone to become sane. But at the same time, we are reminded in Matthew that not everyone, many are called,
Few are chosen.
but it's able to everyone. It's up to you if you want to. It's different to the predestinations. You are all called. We are all called. But if you want to choose that way, this is the human freedom. Choose that way, you go. If you don't want, this is up to you. But give the freedom. It's very, very important. Many are called, few are chosen. So this is, but we are all called to become saints. And the Vatican, so the Council, the Federal Council is emphasizing the universal call of holiness for everyone. And this, in order to become holy, we have to be united with God. We have to surrender ourselves to God through Jesus Christ. But this cannot be achieved overnight. So we need a systematic way to move forward in our Christian life. Cannot be achieved overnight. This is a mysticism topic. So, in order to get it, do not worry, brother. I will put it on properly. Or the whole PowerPoint.
Can you also give us the answers for finances?
Yeah. The next time I will do, I put the reference, I put like in Oblate they do, and I hate to do that. copyright. I put the word I get it at the beginning, and I put my PowerPoint are copyright. That means I cannot give you a copy my PowerPoint, and you cannot take picture. Yeah, it's so hard. You cannot take picture. Then what you can do is just write quickly, because this is my PowerPoint.
Why would you do that?
Hmm?
Why would you do that?
So this is just.
That's not what Dr. Guy would do.
I don't do that. I don't do that. So I don't have any problem. And what I said, just the post. This idea came from this book. And I did and I put copyright. You cannot take the picture. Just to make student life a little bit
More difficult, yes.
But I will not do that. So we have to leave out the spirituality of incarnation and enculturations. This is the first. And the spirituality of reconciliations and the pastoral mystery. So in order for us, we have to humble ourselves. To live the spiritual incarnations, we have to humble ourselves. Like the Philippians. Jesus, let go. The conditions to being God, you take the human flesh. So, and letting go the relationship he has with God to get into the human side. For us, we have to letting go the relationship, the natural family, the detachment. This is the detachment. So in order for us to move to holiness, it's a painful process. So this is, the grain of wheat has to die in order for us to bear fruit. Otherwise, that means, in other words, that the old robber has to die in order for a new robber to emerge. This is the seminary.
Yeah.
The seminary process is, that's why the old robber died.
And he slowly is. He has cancer right now, so.
Okay, and then the emergence of a new robber, which will be a mixture of the old robber and the new stuff he learned from him.
I like it.
So this is what, if sometimes you see, oh, what is going on? There is no changes in some person, in some seminary. I have been in seminary too, who say that, okay, there's something is wrong. Some people are in a different place. You are not in the place what you should be.
What about the submarine seminary?
Hmm?
The submarine seminary?
Mhm.
They just go underneath the water,
Okay.
go all the way through.
They hide.
Yeah.
Like I, so you are not a good place. And you can see that because, oh,
But they come back up. That's the thing.
But
The
I-
submarine.
I- I-
yeah,
when
they
you're
come
ordained,
up. Yes,
when
you
you're
are
ordained.
hiding yourself. In the process, you're hiding yourself. What happens? This is why we have some of
Yeah,
those who are not up to what they have to do. Because in the seminary, they were the submarine, and then we don't sort them out, and then we ordain them, and then we start facing problem. Because there is not this dying in the process. The process of formation is a dying.
What
So-
about the submarine seminary who dies to himself? That could happen, where he just doesn't talk to people because he wants to stay away from stupid people.
That's
So-
different though.
So this is, yes,
Different
yes.
things.
Yeah, you want to talk to people. If you want a seminary, this you have to make community.
But he's referring to, for example, that's part of prudence and wisdom. To know, for example, if I join myself with these people here, I can still talk to them, but their spirituality is not one meant to holiness, so I will separate myself from them. I will still be their brother, but I'm not gonna associate because I wanna be with Christ. That's different.
Or one of your name. One of our name.
But if you are like in the seminary is a formation community. You have a small group, you have to work with people. So I cannot see you be separating yourself just because I don't want to talk to no one. No one. So you have to reveal. In philosophy, Maurice Merleau-Ponty has a very, very beautiful statement. Say, the human being, you reveal yourself when you are in community. But at the same time, I'm hiding. There's something that I'm not showing you. So it's very important, if you want information, if someone is just withdrawing himself, that means he's hiding something. This happens. But because if we live in community, I'm gonna reinvent myself, natural. I cannot, if you are gonna say, okay, you're gonna hiding people, I don't want to talk, something is wrong. The formator have to pay attention. So, pillar of holiness, very, very quickly. We should be familiar with that. Sacramental life. Sacramental life, this is the pillar of holiness. So, we know where we have to go to get the sacramental life in our parish. Structure and systematic study of the revelations. Revelations, we know where to go, which is the sacred scripture and the tradition. Where should we go?
I like that.
Yeah, we know where we should go in order to nurture ourselves. Spiritual directions and guidance. It's very important. Some people want to help us to find God. Where should we go? We know where we should go to get spiritual direction. And the last one is prayer. You have to put yourself in deep water, developing contemplative prayer. So this is what we're going to do. Where should we go in order to develop those contemplative skills? So I want to do a little bit of a word on acquired prayer mysticism. So everyone has the ability to reach the contemplative stages of prayer. Everyone. So there are several definitions of mysticism. So for example, Bonaventure, the raising of the mind to God through desire of love. Teresa of Avila, John of the Cross, mysticism is contemplations. The mystical theology, which theologians call the secret. There is secret that someone, and not everyone can get it. So Evelyn Underhill is one of the mystical, she's not a mystic, but she's a mystical writer. She writes on mysticism. He comes up with the principal idea, what is active and practical aspect of the life. She's not a mystic. So spiritual and transcendental activity, centrality of